Before we get into the basic reads, we need to talk about recognizing coverages. Cover 3 zone, cover 2 zone, quarters, cover 1 free, and cover 0 man. When we get to the line of scrimmage, we're going to look at the safeties first. In 3 deep, cover 3 zone, the free safety is going to be about 12 yards deep. Some free safeties might try to disguise it by lining up on or near the hash mark, but once they're 3 yards outside the hash mark, they'll never be able to get to the middle of the field. At the snap of the ball, their first step is going to be towards the middle of the field. Now we're going to look at a picture of cover 3 zone. The strengths are they have a 3 deep secondary, they have a 4-man rush, and they have good run support to the strong side. The weaknesses are the weak side curl flat, the strong side curl. They have limited fronts, flood routes can hurt them, dig routes can hurt them, and of course 4 verticals are deadly against cover 3. The other thing you need to look at is where is the strong safety. In cover 3 zone, he's going to be outside the tight end. Here's a cut up of cover 3 zone. Notice the tight end and notice where the strong safety is. Notice where the free safety is. Look at where the corners are. They're going to be outside technique a little more than 5 to 7 yards off the line of scrimmage. Now we're going to look at cover 2 zone. In cover 2 zone, you're going to have 2 safeties deep, usually about 12 yards beyond the line of scrimmage. Their first move at the snap of the ball is going to be backwards. Now here's a picture of cover 2 zone. The strengths are they have 5 underneath coverage, which can disrupt the timing of a quick passing game. They have the ability to disrupt the timing of the outside receivers with a jam. They can rush 4, and the flat areas are extremely strong. The weaknesses are the deep coverage areas, deep fade area, deep middle area. A lot of times the cornerbacks are going to be outside the wide receivers anywhere from 4 to 6 yards deep looking into the backfield. Here's a cut up of cover 2 zone. Notice where their safeties are. Notice what they do at the snap of the ball. Even though it's a running play, their first steps are backwards. Notice what the cornerbacks do. They have outside contained, so they're going to come up hard. In this clip, notice where the safety at the top of the screen is. He's on the hash mark. The corner at the bottom of the screen is going to jam the number 1 receiver. The cornerback at the top of the screen isn't threatened right away into his flat area, so he's going to run with the wide receiver. I've put arrows on the cornerbacks and the outside linebackers. Now the cornerback at the bottom of the screen is going to funnel the wide receiver inside because he has help from the safety over the top who's on the hash mark. Notice how he reacts to the back coming out of the backfield. Because it's cover 2, the cornerback is responsible for that flat area. At the top of the screen, the cornerback has no one threatening his flat area right now, so he'll run with the wide receiver. Now at this point, we're going to stop the clip. I want you to see where the safeties are. I have them marked with the 2 arrows, although the safety at the bottom of the screen you don't see yet. The outside linebacker is still on the hash mark, as you would in cover 2. This is called cover 2 read zone. Now here's an example of hard cover 2 zone. The cornerbacks are going to jam the receivers and then settle down at about 12 yards. They're just going to be covering grass. That's why it's called hard cover 2 zone. It's important if you're a coordinator to understand this because now you don't have to put backs into the flat area to anchor the corners. They will come off the wide receivers. It's important when the wide receivers run deep routes, get back outside so the safety can't get to you. Now watch what the safeties do here at the snap of the ball. They back up right away. Notice what the cornerbacks do right away. They're going to come up and jam those receivers if they can. Now we're going to focus on quarters coverage. Quarters coverage can look similar to cover 2, except now the safeties, although they're going to be on or near the hash mark, they're going to be flat-footed and less than 12 yards depth. When the ball is snapped, they're going to hang. They're not going to drop back right away. The strengths are that they can end up being a 4 deep coverage. The run support from the safeties is another strength of this coverage. They have the ability to double cover the outside receivers. Some of the weaknesses are the flat coverage areas. The linebackers have to now cover the flat areas. And the safeties are extremely susceptible to play action. And you can get the wide receivers matched up one-on-one with the defensive backs when you have your number 2 receivers run at those safeties. Now everyone will be locked up man across the board. Now let's look at a cut-up of quarters coverage. Notice where the safeties are. Notice where the corners are. The corners are a little bit deeper in quarters than they are in cover 2. Notice what the safeties do at the snap of the ball. They're just going to hang there. They're not going to drop deep. That's because they're responsible for run first, pass second. And as I said, the flat areas are vulnerable in this coverage. Again, one of the keys to noticing quarters coverage is the safeties. At the snap of the ball, they don't drop back near as fast as they do in cover 2 or even cover 4. That's because they're responsible for run first. Now we're going to focus on some of the man coverages. The first one we're going to look up is cover 1 free. It's called cover 1 free because the free safety is free to roam the middle of the field. Everybody else is locked up man on man. The key to this is notice where the strong safety is. He is going to be locked up on the number 2 receiver or the tight end. He's usually going to be head up or inside that number 2 receiver. Also know that you're going to get blitzed. Now look in this film clip right here. You have one free safety deep. Notice where the strong safety is. He's at the top of the screen on the number 2 receiver. Also notice that they're bringing 6 men. This next clip shows an NFL team. Now it's the St. Louis Rams, so that free safety is really, really deep. But also notice that everybody is locked up on the numbers 1 and 2 receivers to either side. They're going to bring an extra guy, and it's straight man across the board except for the one free safety. Now we'll look at cover 0. Cover 0, there's no safety in the middle of the field. That's because the safeties are going to be within 10 yards of the line of scrimmage. That's because they either are coming on a blitz or they have to pick up the backs or the number 2 receiver or 3 receiver out of the backfield. Also know that in cover 0, they can bring up to 8 rushers. Here's a picture of cover 0. Everybody's locked up, man across the board. There's no one in the middle of the field. Now the weaknesses are there is no underneath help. You can beat them with crossing routes, breaking routes, and pick routes. But no, they're going to bring extra men rushing. Now let's look at a video clip. Notice there's no one in the middle of the field. The one safety that is outside the hash mark, he's there because he has to pick up the tight end that's going to run a flat route. Everybody else is man up. Now this team decides to check to a quick pass. A lot of times they do that. And they get the slant route. That could be a first down. Now in this next video clip, notice again there's no one in the middle of the field. They're going to bring extra rushers. Everybody's locked up man on man. The quarterback's going to check to a quick pass.